Part 17. I became the richest man in the world by making meatballs. Author, Lanshan Luzi Y. Chapter 161. Seeing the two girls walking away, they completely forgot about Fenyuyu, the escort they had promised. Fenyuyu came out of his military affairs and laughed angrily when he looked at their backs. However, he was in a strange mood. At least he was more pleasing to the eye than those women who pestered him and winked at him every day. Thinking about it, he put one hand in his pocket, smiled at Li Heun, then fulfilled his promise and followed them at a walking speed, leisurely sending them back to the nursing home 10 steps away, until the two of them, after entering the gate of the nursing home, he slowly turned back and took out the speed car to go to the villa. The old fox is dead, but the person who took out the golden thunder sand just got a clue from Li Heun. Next, he has to follow this clue and continue to investigate. It is related to the super mecha. He has to go back and make a good deployment. Only a few times will do. Here, as soon as Bai Qianchun led Rong Kikai into the nursing home, he was seen by a patient who had been waiting eagerly for a long time. He suddenly shouted excitedly, "The ancient doctor lady is back." Immediately after the crowd responded, a group of people wearing hospital gowns with nimble legs and feet quickly gathered in their direction, with excited expressions on their faces. Most of them were old men and old ladies with wrinkled faces. "Miss Ancient Medicine, Miss Ancient Medicine," that grumpy old man of Avalon said, "you have a magic medicine here, take it out quickly." "I want it. I want it. Yes, yes, why is that old man so lucky to buy the magic medicine first? We also want to have it. As long as it can cure my blocked tendons and allow me to live for several hundred more years, my family's mine will be given to me. You're not a problem." "Yes, yes, we don't have anything else, we just have a lot of money." Bai Qianchun liked hearing this sentence very much, and the depression that was blocked at the door dissipated. Her dark eyes were shining brightly and she said, "I have the medicine. Everyone, please line up first. Let's find a quiet place and come one by one." Hearing this, the people in hospital gowns who were noisy like 800 ducks in the hall immediately calmed down obediently, and lined up in a row one by one. The old man and old lady with wrinkled faces quickly grabbed the front row seat with quick eyes and hands, which made a few young people look annoyed. It seems that the old ones are still hotter. But it doesn't matter, as long as it can cure the disease and the miracle medicine is really that amazing, it doesn't matter how long they wait in line. "Miss Ancient Doctor, let's go to the back garden. We can see a doctor while basking in the sun. No one usually goes there, it's very quiet." "Okay, let's go to the back garden." So Bai Qianchun led the way towards the back garden like a mother chicken, followed by a group of chicks who were secretly competing but followed without missing a step. Rong Kikai, who was dragged into the team by a gentlewoman, also followed her with her head tilted up, her blue eyes unable to conceal her excitement. "Auntie, is the ancient doctor's medicine really so magical? What diseases are you treating?" The gentlewoman's smile froze. The little girl looked so pitiful and adorable, but her words were so unpleasant. She was only in her 50s, and she was still paying the single tax. She was still in her youth, where? Like an ant. "Auntie, Auntie, are you okay?" The little girl tugged on her clothes from behind and whispered, "Maybe she is mute. Is there any medicine to cure muteness?" The smile on the gentlewoman's face could no longer be maintained, and her expression exploded. She gritted her teeth and retorted with a smile, "I am not a mute, nor an ant. You should call me eldest sister. I can barely respond to it as aunt." As if feeling the anger in her tone, Rong Kikai pouted and said, "Oh." It was obvious that what she was telling was the truth, so why didn't some people like to hear it? This is called self-deception, but she thought of her savior. "I have taught her not to tell the truth at this time, otherwise her feelings will be hurt." Rong Kikai obediently called her aunt instead. "Auntie, Do you know what kind of medicine Miss Ancient Medicine sells? Why do so many people want to buy it? Have you ever taken it before? 3 questions in a row expressed her deep curiosity. The gentlewoman was barely satisfied. She pulled the clothes of the person in front of her to prevent him from falling behind, and answered Wrong Kikai's question. We are all people with abnormal core and blocked tendons. A patient came to our room before. He boasted that his illness was cured by a green pill given by the ancient medical lady. We have seen his physical examination report and it is really good, so we have the idea of whether to believe it or not. They all came to buy medicine. But you, little girl, don't know what disease to treat, so why are you queuing up? Wrong Kikai was very innocent, blinking her big blue eyes and said, Auntie, you dragged me in. Ah, this is a bit embarrassing. The gentlewoman sneered and said, I'm sorry, I just took it easy. A young boy's white head stretched out from behind. His fair and tender face looked like he was 17 or 18 years old and he chuckled, I'm different. I heard that the ancient medical lady had a kind of black hair pill. It can make your hair black instantly, so I just want to try what it's like to have black hair. The boy couldn't sit still. It was rare that this moment was lively and there were people chatting together. He couldn't stop talking and continued to mutter, my hair is born with hereditary whiteheads, and I don't like hair dye, it smelled bad, so I had to keep it for nothing. In the morning, Master Avalon came over to show off to my father and mentioned by the way that his hair turned black instantly after taking Miss Ancient Medicine's black hair pills, so I wanted to try it too. Try, if it really works, I won't spend this trip with my dad's unlucky idiot in the hospital. The gentlewoman in front looked back and said, I remember you, you are the son of the patient in the ward next to me. I heard that your father was passing by and he kindly saved a madman, but he was unprepared and was stabbed into the superpower core by the madman. Half of the unlucky guy who has all his superpower cores cracked can only wait for death. The boy's handsome face turned red, and he gritted his teeth and said, yes, that unlucky guy is my dad. Wrong Kikai looked at him with sympathy. It was rare to see such a silly father, and the white-haired little brother was also quite pitiful. The 3 of them moved forward while chatting, and soon it was the turn of the gentlewoman in front of them. Bai Qian-chun was sitting on a stone bench under the corridor of wisteria flowers. There was a stone table in front of her, with several porcelain bottles placed on the table. She raised her eyes and glanced at the gentlewoman, and said softly, please sit down. The gentlewoman smiled, sat down quickly, and then hurriedly explained her situation, Miss Ancient Medicine, my abilities have stagnated due to blocked tendons. I should be in the early stage of the disease at this stage. You see what I am going to eat, what medicine is good. Bai Qian-chun didn't rush to make a judgment. She raised her eyes and glanced at her face with crow's feet. Reach out your hand and let me take your pulse first. The gentlewoman quickly followed the instructions, rolled up her sleeves and put her hands on the stone table. I became the richest man in the world by making meatballs. Author, Lan Shan Lu Zy. Chapter 162. The gentlewoman stared nervously at the girl wearing a mask in front of her, feeling uneasy. She didn't know why she always felt that this girl looked more majestic than her mother. For a while, she attributed this feeling to the fact that her fate was in the hands of the other person. That's why I'm scared in my hands. Bai Qian-chun's eyes were drooped, her eyelashes like small fans flapped twice, and she said in a deep voice, it is indeed the early stage of muscle blockage. In addition, your superpower core has also suffered hidden injuries, and the wall of the superpower core has been worn. It doesn't seem to be a problem now, but in less than 10 years your superpower core will burst, and then it will be a matter of dissipating your superpower. The gentlewoman's heart skipped a beat and she was frightened, but what followed was a strong suspicion. She couldn't remember any hidden injuries to her superpower core. Could it be that the little girl in front of me is a liar? But how can a liar ask Master Avalon to endorse it? Master Avalon is famous for his bad temper, and he is not afraid of power and does not take sides. For a moment, the gentlewoman's heart was full of contradictions. She concealed her uneasiness and continued to ask, then what medicine do I need to take and how many star coins do I need? Bai Qian-chun raised his eyes and glanced at her, and began to quote in a calm tone, you need two kinds of pills, one is the vitality pill, and the other is the repair pill. You should have heard Master Avalon mention that these two pills are I won't say much about treatment, but these two medicines are divided into three versions, the low-end version, the original version and the high-end upgraded version. The two medicines are sold at the same price, and the low-end version is 40 million star coins. The original version is worth 50 million star coins, and the high-end upgraded version is worth 60 million star coins. In your current situation, you only need to take the low-profile version. Of course, it's okay to take the original version and the high-profile upgraded version. The effect will be better. However, the pills I have been sold out just now. You can pre-order first, the low-end version and the original version will be delivered tomorrow. The high-end upgraded version will take longer. I need to find a medicine with better properties before I can make it. I have to wait at least 10 days. Which one do you plan to order? The gentlewoman's heart trembled and she started playing the drum. The price was too expensive. Although she could afford it, most of her wealth was lost after buying it. Wrong, Kikai muttered from behind, you still have to choose. Of course, use the best. I must use the best medicine for the savior. If the star coins are gone, I can still earn them again. She touched her head and grinned. She made a lot of money from eating black and white in the morning, especially after the free trade market manager paid her 300 million in compensation. According to her sister's current two pills with such a price, she could barely buy a few pills. The gentlewoman in front listened for a while and thought that the little girl was right. After all, a dead horse is a living horse, doctor. This is the only hope. If the star coins are gone, you can make more money, but if the person is gone, it is all over. She thought about it and changed her original request for the low-end version to the original version. As for the high-end version, it took too long and she didn't want to wait. Bai Qian-chun filled out another item on the reservation form, adding a repair pill and an upgrade pill, then nodded to her and said, okay, there is no need to pay a deposit. You can have the money ready and wait for me in the lobby of the nursing home at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, that's it. This makes the gentlewoman breathe a sigh of relief. It's good not to pay a deposit. Just when she was about to get up, Bai Qian-chun suddenly stopped her and said, by the way, I think your skin is not good and you have a lot of crow's feet on your face. Do you need a beauty pill? It can perfectly repair the damage on your face and adjusted facial muscle contours, sagging, wrinkles and other facial problems are perfectly proportioned. One pill can last for a year, and there are also whitening pills that make your skin white from the inside out. The gentlewoman's heart was high again after she had just let go, and she asked her soul, are you really sure you are not selling fake medicine? She was speechless in her heart, but her expression was strong and she rejected Bai Qian-chun's proposal with a smile, no, I don't need it now. I'm still young. My face will recover when my powers are restored. Oh, okay. The promotion failed, and Bai Qian-chun was a little disappointed. It seems that beauty pills are not very popular, so should she open a special production line? Taking advantage of her absence, the gentlewoman seized the opportunity and ran away quickly, her back looking like she had been run over by a dog. Behind her, Rong Kikai snorted twice, thinking that the aunt really didn't understand her sister's kindness at all. She walked up and sat down, and said hurriedly, sister, she doesn't want me to have it. I'll bring some beauty pills to my savior when I go back. My savior looks great but looks a lot older after working hard over the years. I want to buy her some beauty pills to replenish her. Women love beauty, so my savior must be very happy. Bai Qian-chun was also very happy. The little girl said, "Your savior doesn't want to leak the news. I will help them read it when they get back to the room. You sit aside and wait for me for a while. I will finish reading it soon." Rong Kikai nodded her head obediently, "Okay." Then she moved her butt and sat on another stone bench. The young man with gray hair behind him quickly took over, "Miss Ancient Medicine, I want Wufa pill to treat my hereditary congenital white hair. Do you think it can be cured?" Bai Qian-chun glanced at his head, nodded and confirmed, "Yes, one pill will have an immediate effect, but if you have congenital inheritance, you need to take 3 pills, and take them in 3 months to completely reverse it and achieve black hair regeneration. Now the Wufa pills in my hand have been sold out. Do you want to make a reservation when I go back to rub them in the evening?" The young man's eyes gleamed and he nodded happily, "Yes, yes, I want to make a reservation." After getting over the excitement, the young man slapped his forehead and said, with the excitement in his voice lowered by a degree, "By the way, I also helped my stupid dad buy medicine." His superpower core cracked, and the superpower was constantly dissipating. He was about to die. He has only a few days to live before he can become an ordinary person. "Miss Ancient Medicine, please tell me what medicine my father needs to use." Bai Qian-chun gave him a confused look, "You are really a great son of your father. Buying Wufa pills is much more exciting than buying your own father's life-saving medicine." She thought for a moment and said, "Let's take a repair pill first. Your father sounds more serious, so I'll use the original version first." The young man nodded like a chicken pecking at rice, Okay, Miss Ancient Medicine, you can give it to me. We have a mine at home and we are not short of money." Cheng, Bai Qian-chun liked that he was so generous and careless, and we also gave him the Qi building pill and the blood building pill, both of which were useful for serious illnesses like his father's. The young man accepted the order without even thinking about it. Rong Kikai sat next to her with her chin in her hands, her big blue eyes flashing brightly. If this team goes down, her sister will earn more than 1 billion just by selling vitality pills and repair pills. That's a lot of star coins. Sure enough, the eldest nephew was right, people still have to have a skill to make money. My sister's skill is pills, and her skill is to eat black and white. I don't envy her, but she can also earn a lot of compensation at one time. Don't worry, there are 3 more chapters. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I became the richest man in the world by making meatballs. Author, Lan Shan Lu Zy. Chapter 163. Sitting under the wisteria flower stand, a group of patients quickly read through it. Some of them were like gentle women who doubtfully refused Bai Qian-chun's other promotions, while others were like a white-haired boy who had a mine at home and refused to accept anyone who came, buying all the pills. After seeing the patients, Bai Qian-chun took the amount on the reservation form and made a preliminary estimate. Excluding the cost of buying medicinal materials, she would make a huge profit of nearly 1.3 billion as long as the goods are delivered tomorrow. There are also several patients whose situation is similar to Jian Zhan's. Because their families were poor, they signed a contract to enter a nursing home, and the treatment costs were borne by the nursing home. As a result, Bai Qian-chun earned less star coins, but these people were converted into red badges. She still made money by exchanging space coins. In addition, there are 10 high-end vitality pills ordered by Li Heun, which cost 540 million star coins even at a 10% discount. In other words, she earned nearly 2 billion star coins in this afternoon, plus the free second-hand speed car before the Space Union. This original wealth has been accumulated. In general, although this trip to the shaking light star was full of twists and turns, it's a lot, and it also provokes a hidden red silk cell behind the scenes. I don't know when it will explode, but the result is definitely worth it. With a satisfied mood, Bai Qianchun led Rong Kikai upstairs to the room to prepare for individual consultation. It's a pity that her three saviors were so cautious that they were almost panicking. In the end, the communication failed to connect. The two parties could only rely on text communication and diagnosis of the treatment device, and Bai Qianchun formulated a few pills. Let Rong Kikai take it back and try it out. After that, the little girl Rong Kikai consciously said goodbye and left. Bai Qianchun pulled Cao Ting, his grandson, and brother Jianzhan back and started making meatballs non-stop. As for the medicinal materials, they were all prepared from the sanatorium. Bai Qianchun paid for them out of his own pocket. With Li Heun, the new head of the family, it was very convenient for Bai Qianchun to get the medicinal materials. Early the next morning, Bai Qianchun walked to the hall in a happy mood and was surrounded by patients who were more excited than she was. She didn't need to say anything this time. The patients lined up in unison, scrambling to be the first. Their spirits were hundreds of percentage points higher than when they were lining up yesterday. They were all so excited that they almost exploded. The oldest one today I got up early at 5 in the morning and started waiting. Why? It's all because the few people who were in front in line yesterday and bought the high-end version of Bai Qianchun's upgraded vitality pill inventory showed the effect. They took it in front of everyone, and after a few minutes, their muscles his pulse was cleared on the spot, and the most exaggerated thing was that one of the wood-type superpowers actually jumped up a level. Good guy, this will make everyone envious. In public, in full view of everyone, how can this be fake? So the patients who had made reservations and ordered other pills were excited and reveled. The vitality pill was so effective, could other pills be fake? On the contrary, the other half who rejected the beauty pill and other extra pills felt that they had missed out on 100 million. They hurriedly wanted to add more orders, but unfortunately Bai Qianchun turned them down because of lack of time. They were suddenly heartbroken and unable to breathe. Secretly cursing myself for being an idiot yesterday. The gentlewoman yesterday was very decisive today. After getting the scheduled repair pills and vitality pills, she must pay a deposit to buy the beauty pills. She is willing to wait as long as she wants. Of course, Bai Qianchun will not turn down the business that comes to her door, but Mu Yuan after all, Xing's freight route was not open. She didn't know when the goods would be shipped, so she could only accept the order first without charging any money. As for whether to sell it or not, it will depend on the situation at that time. No matter how you look at it, this business relationship is on the verge of collapse. The gentlewoman stamped her feet and beat her chest in regret. She just wished she could wear it back and beat herself to death yesterday. How could she be so blinded by lard? Don't want it? Auntie, no, Auntie, what's wrong with you? As soon as Rong Kikai walked into the lobby of the nursing home, she was shocked by the people inside who were half crying and half laughing, especially since the aunt who helped her yesterday was still patting her chest. She blinked and thought she was choking on something. I thought about coming over to help take a picture. But what she didn't expect was that before she even got close, the aunt would glance over, her eyes shining brightly as if she had seen prey. Rong Kikai paused, her smile faded slightly, and she looked back boldly. What's wrong, Auntie? Do you want to fight? Today's Rong Kikai is no longer the Rong Kikai of yesterday. Today, most of her powers have been restored. She can kill such an ant with just one fist. But what she didn't expect was that the ant opened her mouth excitedly and said, "Little girl, I heard you ordered a few beauty pills yesterday. Auntie is discussing with you whether something can be done. Can you give a few beauty pills to Auntie?" Rong Kikai suddenly realized, looked at her contemptuously, and decisively refused. "No, I want to take it back to the savior. Auntie refused her sister's kindness yesterday. She ran faster than a dog. Today she wants me to be even come out to you. Why are you so big-faced?" The gentlewoman choked. She never expected that the little girl would speak so rudely. The few patients nearby who had their ears pricked up and had the same idea quickly looked away and pretended to be nonchalant. They couldn't afford to offend him. Forget it, there was no shortcut, so they had better exchange with the ancient doctor first. Let's wait for the communication. As a result, Bai Qianchun gained her first batch of loyal customers in the Huayao Empire, and her trip to Shaking Light Star came to an end. The only thing she was worried about was that Men Nian, whom she had agreed to meet yesterday, did not show up and only sent an apology. Fluctuating Star Airport. Li Haeun personally brought 2 teams of bodyguards to see him off, and the scene was very spectacular. Bai Qianchun stood next to Feng Yuyu, followed by Cao Jiajia, Cao Ting, and his grandson. Several people stood opposite Li Haeun, listening to him say goodbye and welcome them to come again next time. In short, the scene was as follows. That was enough to give Bai Qianchun dignity and respect. People who didn't know about it thought he was saying goodbye to Feng Yuyu, but the 2 rows of bodyguards knew that their second young master, no, it should be said that their family had taken down the new son of the Li family without bloodshed last night. The head of the family is here to see off the ancient medical lady. The bodyguards who switched to Li Haeun, although they didn't know why, they were greatly shocked. They witnessed the ancient doctor lifting up their eldest young master at the auction house yesterday, and concluded that the girl would not live for 3 days, let alone leave the Shaking Star. However, they did not expect that it would be them who were slapped in the face. Yesterday she said that the Li family would line up to see her off Shaking Light Star, but today it was actually their family head who lined up to see her off. My face really hurts. Feng Yuyu glanced at Li Haeun's fake smiling face with disgust, put one hand in his pocket and lazily scoffed, "Okay, the battleship will set sail soon. You are blabbering like an old lady. Hurry up, go back and take care of your Li family, it's not easy to be the head of the family. Don't wait until the next time we come again, you will be gone and the head of the family will be changed. I became the richest man in the world by making meatballs." Author, Lanshan Luziy. Chapter 164. Li Haeun's smile froze, and then he smiled again. "Don't worry about it, Lord Feng. Next time you come, I will definitely treat you well as a real host. And it's hard for Lord Feng's battleship to not listen to you. If you want to open it, you can open it whenever you want." "Tisk, this won't work. It seems that the prestige of little Lord Feng is not good. How about Miss Ancient Medicine trade a battleship with me next time, so that Miss Ancient Medicine doesn't have to. You're accommodating to others and you can leave whenever you want." Bai Qianchun's eyes flashed brightly, and she had to say that she was still excited about this proposal. But considering that he doesn't have the talent to pilot a battleship, he can only suppress this desire temporarily. But just for a moment, Feng Yuyu caught him. He glared at Li Haeun displeasedly. This smiling fox was becoming more and more like his own father. He knew how to pretend to be a hypocrite when he said nice things. In time, he will be an old fox again. He glanced at Bai Qianchun and said casually, "The ancient doctor must think clearly. It costs a lot to raise a battleship, and it is very dangerous to travel in space without professional battleship pilots and Legion escorts. Interstellar pirates have been restless recently and often like to hijack lone battleships and starships. As a woman, you can easily be regarded as a fat sheep." Bai Qianchun raised her eyes and rolled her eyes at him. "Am I that stupid? I understand the truth." Then she turned around and walked towards the battleship. "Didn't you say we were about to set sail? Let's go quickly." The smile on Feng Yuyu's lips widened and she smiled proudly at Li Haeun. "Then we'll leave first, Master Li." The lazy ending was long and pleasant, but it sounded damn harsh to Li Haeun's ears. His warm eyes deepened, and he wanted to say something more, but he had already opened his long, slender eyes. His legs turned around without hesitation to follow the petite figure in front of him. Inside the starry skyport. A huge battleship is dormant in the starry sky like a giant beast. It is larger than the starships and small battleships docked nearby, like a behemoth. The color of the battleship's carapace is pitch black with a hint of scarlet. At first glance, it is a unique battleship. Cao Giagia's eyes gleamed with excitement, and she leaned into Baikin Chun's ear and said excitedly, "Phoenix battleship, boss, this is the Phoenix battleship unique to the Feng family's 3rd Legion. I didn't expect that one day I would be able to board this battleship. It is said that it is the most expensive battleship in the Huayao Empire. Even the outer shell is made of top-grade materials, and a small piece of phoenix stone worth over 100 million is incorporated into it, so the outer shell looks black with a little scarlet. This almost became the symbol of the 3rd Legion, and was later named the Phoenix battleship by Lord Feng himself." Bai Qianchun didn't listen carefully to the rest, but listened to the expensive one. She subconsciously asked, "How much does the entire battleship cost?" "Cao Giagia, I don't know the specifics, but it is said that it will cost at least 90 billion. Bai Qianchun, how many Phoenix battleships does the 3rd Legion have in total?" "Cao Giagia, there are currently 30 ships announced, and it is said that they are still being manufactured." Bai Qianchun, once again, I have a deeper understanding of Feng Yuyu's wealth. Compared with the 2 billion she just got, and it has only been popular for a short time, it is nothing. She can only build a small room on the Phoenix battleship. With a little envy, Bai Qianchun stepped onto the Phoenix battleship. "Sir." At the door of the battleship, a group of soldiers wearing military uniforms with broad shoulders, narrow waists and long legs saluted Feng Yuyu behind Bai Qianchun with serious faces. This scene shocked Cao Giagia and swallowed her saliva. Subconsciously he shrank behind Bai Qianchun. Feng Yuyu walked in lazily. Among a group of solemn soldiers, he seemed like a prince who had walked into the wrong set. However, when he actually walked into the group of soldiers, he felt no sense of disobedience, and even the aura on his body, it was a bit more fierce, which made Bai Qianchun look sideways for a moment. "Get ready to set sail, it's all gone." "Yes, sir." With these words, the soldiers immediately relaxed, and the identical serious faces became diverse. Some were still serious, and some were more smiling and curious. Bai Qianchun didn't feel disgusted by these curious glances. Her eyes were calm and natural. In her previous life, she had fought with soldiers to protect her homeland and the weak. Feng Yuyu glanced at them and snorted, "They are a bunch of brats." Then he looked at Bai Qianchun aside, and said in a slow and leisurely voice, "My battleship is faster than ordinary starships. If there are no accidents, we can reach Jupiter in 6 hours. If you want to rest, you can still wander around in the battleship. The 2nd floor of the battleship is the training room and the Star Network cabin entertainment room. You can go up and have a look." This rare thoughtfulness made Bai Qianchun look at him sideways. Feng Yuyu's unusually delicate and handsome face was slightly raised with thin lips, showing that the master was in a good mood. Meeting her gaze, Feng Yuyu looked over with a pair of smiling and affectionate peach blossom eyes, and laughed happily. "What are you looking at?" "I finally realized that I look good looking." Bai Qianchun's face was expressionless, and his eyes were even mocking. "No, it's just that you suddenly look like a normal person. I suspect that you are a different person." Feng Yuyu's smile froze, and the corners of her mouth pulled down. "Oh, no, it's a pity for the ancient doctor, but my beautiful skin still has my original abnormal soul. Zhuangshu, you will entertain these 3 guests. I have military affairs to attend to and will not accompany them." "Yes, Sir." Zhuangshu straightened his waist and replied loudly. However, after answering, he couldn't help but glance behind his parents, but there was no one else except Master Cao Ting's slender and elegant figure. He couldn't help but frown, with a suspicious look in his eyes. He looked at the closed door of the battleship, and then at the back of the officer striding away, feeling depressed. This shouldn't be the case. According to his guess, the chief came out from the main star this time to pick up the chief's wife, but why was the chief's wife not even seen? Obviously, the officer was quite happy at noon yesterday, smiling proudly, and one could tell that he was a man nourished by love. But now that the officer's wife has not come back, why is the officer so happy? Zhuangshu didn't understand. Zhuangshu was very depressed. At this time, Zhuangshu suddenly made a bold guess in his heart. Could it be that the chief's wife had already boarded the starship? His eyes glanced back and forth twice on the faces of Bai Jianchun and Cao Jiajia. Although Cao Jiajia was also a standard pretty girl, she was far from the peerless appearance of his parents, and she looked nothing like his parents. They don't quite match, whether it's temperament, appearance, aura, or atmosphere. I became the richest man in the world by making meatballs. Author, Lanshan Luzi. Chapter 165. Let's talk about the ancient doctor lady. Although she is wearing a mask and has never seen her true face, her mysterious temperament, powerful strength, and miraculous pills all show her extraordinariness. She has an aura standing with her parents. The atmosphere, to borrow a sentence from Xin Wang, is full of CP feeling. The petite boss, the mysterious beauty vs the lazy, monstrous, top noble man. In addition, she was not tempted by her parents' appearance, and she was able to make her parents leave in anger. Both of these qualities were exactly in line with his image of the chief's wife. But why didn't the sir say he knew Miss Ancient Medicine before? If the ancient doctor lady were the chief's wife, then there would be no need to go through so much trouble to find Manager Yao to talk to the ancient doctor lady about the vitality pill. Not married, single Zhuangshu is puzzled. We can only guess for the time being that this is probably a little fun between husband and wife. Adjutant, come to your senses. Come to your senses quickly. Why are you staring at our boss? After Cao Jiajia spent a period of excitement, she hurriedly looked towards Zhuangshu and saw that Zhuangshu had his eyes on her. After it was on her body, she asked happily, Adjutant, your commander just said that you can go to the training room and recreation room on the second floor to have a look. Can you take me there now? Zhuangshu had a straight face and nodded slightly. Of course, I wonder what arrangements Master Cao Ting and Miss Ancient Medicine have. Bai Qianchun raised her eyebrows, then go and have a look. Cao Ting didn't speak, his eyes were wandering, but the pace he followed also meant that he had no objection to moving together. Zhuangshu made an invitation gesture and led the three of them to the second floor. Seeing that they were gone, the soldiers who stayed behind breathed a sigh of relief, and all of them became excited. As Feng Yuyu's personal soldiers, they did not hide the information they received from Zhuangshu. The more than 200 personal soldiers on the entire battleship almost spread the word about the ancient medicine. That is the ancient doctor. Adjutant Zhuangshu said that she has a medicine called raw eggs that can treat blocked muscles and veins. Then Xiaoliu and the others don't have to retire. What's the raw egg? It's called vitality pill. You uneducated rough guy is really scary. If that ancient doctor girl knew that you gave her medicine such a vulgar name, would she actually sell it to you with the raw egg? You. No, 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 no. But I'm a poor guy like me, who is old and young, and my salary is all subsidized. Can I be the one who can afford a vitality pill of 50 million star coins? Tisk, tisk, you are lagging behind on the news. Who is our sir? He is the leader of the Feng group, which has the most assets in the empire. How can he not afford the vitality pill? I heard the adjutant say, "Sir, recently we need to establish a military merit exchange system in the Third Army. If military merit is exchanged for things, as long as the vitality pill is negotiated, the vitality pill will also become one of the items in the exchange list, just like those who have damaged muscles and veins and are ready to retire. The military merits of each of those people can be exchanged for a vitality pill, so they don't have to retire. Even if the military merit is not enough, the commander has adopted the method of borrowing first and then making up for it in order to take care of them. Anyway, I like the treatment of our Third Army, especially after our commander comes, the benefits are endless go up. Who says it's not the case? It's good to have a rich and powerful officer. There was a wave of salary increases in the past 2 months, and now there's a military merit exchange benefit. I don't think any legion is as good as our 3rd Legion. We will definitely recruit troops next year. There are a lot of people signing up." The soldiers' rough voices were ringing excitedly. Bai Qianchun, who had a sharp ear and eyesight, could hear their conversation in detail even if they were far away. However, when he stepped onto the 2nd floor, the sounds from the 1st floor could not be heard. "Miss Ancient Doctor, this is the training ground. It is divided into a free fighting field and a supernatural battlefield. We usually train here." Following Zhuangshu's introduction, Bai Qianchun raised his eyes and looked over. Through the transparent glass wall, the situation in the training ground was clear at a glance. On the ring in the room on the left, 2 soldiers in training uniforms were fighting with bare hands. A group of soldiers in military uniforms were sitting everywhere under the ring, laughing and watching the show. Although the sound could not be heard, judging from the beaming expressions on their faces, they probably were. Cheer or cheer. The room on the right is equally lively. 1 water type and 1 fire type are fighting fiercely. 1 blue and 1 red are fierce and colorful. The adrenaline of the people watching is rising rapidly, and people can't help but want to go up and have a fight. Zhuangshu glanced at her, with a proud smile on his lips. It was only because of the strongest materials and the highest tech scientific research on their Phoenix battleship that they could fight freely here. He glanced at Bai Qianchun, whose eyes were full of energy, and subconsciously invited, "Do you want Miss Ancient Doctor to come up and give it a try?" "May I?" "Certainly." So Zhuangshu watched helplessly as Bai Qianchun walked into the room on the left. His eyes suddenly widened. This was wrong. The left side was a bare-handed combat training ground, not a superpower training ground. Can Miss Ancient Doctor with her small arms and legs do this? Zhuangshu was worried and quickly followed the CAO family's grandfather and grandson in. A young soldier who had just come on the stage and looked quite immature looked at the girl standing on the other side of the ring and was frightened. "You, who are you?" Bai Qianchun rolled up her sleeves, made a hand gesture and looked up. "Do we still need to name each other before the fight?" "Hello, I am an ancient doctor." My name is Ding Mao." The young soldier stupidly announced his name, and then in a burst of laughter, he suddenly came back to his senses, his stunned face turned red, and he said in embarrassment, "That's not what I meant." I, what are you doing here as a girl? We don't show mercy in the fighting arena here," he said fiercely. Bai Qianchun raised her eyebrows. "Are you sexist?" The Lengtu soldier was dumbfounded, blushed and shouted angrily, "I didn't, I just reminded you." The brothers below also laughed loudly. Yes, There are no fathers and sons, no brothers, and no distinction between men and women on the battlefield. Ding Mao, you kid, don't show mercy to others. Fight quickly, don't waste time. Ding Mao, don't be a coward. Brothers, please cheer for you. Ha 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 ha. Look at how stupid this guy is. His fighting skills are at the bottom. He might still win if he plays with a girl. But where did this girl come from? There are only 2 girls on our commander's battleship, Sister Xiao Hui, who have stronger muscles than us. We have never seen other girls. Don't you know this? Those guys on the first floor passed the news over. The one wearing the mask is an ancient doctor. He is the one who has the vitality pill to treat blocked muscles and veins. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I became the richest man in the world by making meatballs. Author, Lanshan Luziy. Chapter 166. After knowing the identity of the ancient doctor, the rough guys who were still booing under the ring were dumbfounded. A circle of people stared in silence and fell into silence. Then a curse word broke out, she is the big precious miracle doctor. No, no, what if that stupid boy Ding Mao beats someone up and can't make any medicine? I heard that manager Yao hasn't finalized the contract yet. What if he beats people to tears and refuses to cooperate with our Third Army? So the brothers who were making noises quickly spoke up to stop them. Mazi, please be gentle, we must know how to show mercy. The skin of the little girl is so tender and the bones are so brittle. If you break it, we can't afford it. That's right, that's right. Men who beat women are not a good thing. It's easy for them not to get a wife. Ding Mao, please give in. Ding Mao on the stage, that's not what you said before. Ding Mao held back a few tears and felt angry. Besides, could this situation be tolerated with a little effort? Ding Mao, who was knocked to the ground by a leg whip, pressed his face against the cold surface of the ring, and his whole body was in despair. Ah, in this damn unreasonable world, shouldn't the strong one be a girl like Sister Xiao Hui who is stronger than him? Why is this girl with delicate little arms and soft legs so strong? This unscientific. Ding Mao beat his hands on the ground and shouted in his heart. However, the brothers still didn't understand his pain, and were still smiling below. Hey, Ding Mao, you're a good boy, you're so good at pretending, you even bounced your face to the ground twice and even noticed his micro-expression. Go and be a fool, it's not a problem to be a martial arts actor. Yes, Mazi, thank you for your hard work, please hurry up and don't pretend to be so real. Ding Mao put his hands on the ring, got up from the ground, his face flushed with anger, and shouted angrily to the smiling brothers under the ring, I'm not pretending. In response to this, the brothers laughed louder and burst into tears. It's over, this time the show is over. Mako, don't be so immersed in the acting, come down quickly. That's right, stop pretending when you get off the stage. Don't talk about it. We have been getting along for several months. I really didn't know you were such a dramatic person. Ding Mao grinned at his teeth. Did these idiots really not realize that he was just a little piece of trash who was beaten and suppressed? He didn't even pretend and couldn't pretend, right? From the moment he started to fight until he was swept to the ground. He didn't even touch a corner of the girl's clothes opposite. If this girl wasn't a kung fu master, hiding the boss, he, Ding Mao, would follow the surnames of hundreds of families, rotating from one surname to another every day. At this time, Cao Jiajia, a big fangirl who firmly believed in the big brother, cast a sympathetic look at Ding Mao who limped down from the stage. She covered her mouth and snickered beside her. He, she knew that the boss was good at everything, and there was nothing he couldn't do. After watching the first scene, she no longer worried. She simply found an open space and dragged her grandfather to join the crowd to watch. Zhuangshu touched his nose and expressed his deep sympathy for a group of brothers who were still stupid and couldn't see the situation clearly. Bai Qianchun stood on the ring and turned a deaf ear to the joking and cheering below. A pair of dark eyes swept down and shouted, "Next one." The stupid boy just now was so young that he knelt down before she even finished warming up. The soldiers in the audience looked at each other in shock and continued to fight. Although they knew that the ancient doctor was a great treasure, this was a fighting arena for serious competitions, not a place for playing tricks with others. An entertainment competition was enough. They will be impatient if there are too many. Ding Mao came over and sat down, glanced at the good brother next to him who had laughed the loudest just now, and said, "Go up and try." The good brother was stunned for a moment, and then he laughed cheerfully, "Okay, I can definitely perform better than you." Then he stood up and shouted with a hearty smile, "I'll do it." Then he took a step forward and strode onto the ring under the auspices of a group of brothers who earnestly urged him to drink more water. The man wore military green short-sleeved shirts, with both arms exposed. Although his bulging muscles were not overly exaggerated, his muscle lines were strong and smooth. He had an ape-like back and a wasp-like waist. He looked like a real trainer. Bai Qianchun's dark eyes glanced around him, looking a little more presentable than the stunned green man just now. Noticing her gaze, the man showed her big white teeth and smiled at her, then scratched his head and said, "My dear ancient doctor, please enlighten me. If the girl can't hold on any longer, she must stop immediately. My rough hands and feet will hurt you. It's not going to be good when I'm a girl. Our commander needs to give me more training." Bai Qianchun gave him a flat look, and gave him a kind reminder without being disrespectful. "Similarly, if you can't hold on any longer, you can stop, otherwise I'll hurt you with my heavy hand. There is a treatment fee for helping with treatment." The soldiers felt a sigh of relief. No one took these harsh words to heart, not even Daniel himself who was standing on the stage. He twitched the corners of his mouth, posed, and said, "I'm ready, we can start." Okay. A cold and calm voice fell, and the petite girl opposite seemed to turn on the accelerator, and suddenly she was approaching Daniel. A pair of dark and cold eyes were imprinted into his eyes, and there was a sense of oppression. From his eyes, he felt a thump in his heart and realized something was wrong, but he only had time to sigh in his heart so fast, and then quickly stretched out his arm to block. But who would have known that something big was going to happen after this block? Is this fist coming? No, this is a giant steel fist, and it is a solid one. The pain jumped from his muscular arms all the way to the central nerves in his brain. He felt that his entire arm was numb with pain, but this was just the beginning. Another white and tender fist from the opposite side immediately swung towards his chest. Come on, he was so close that he could clearly feel the hurricane and power contained in this petite fist. He only had time to see it, but his body couldn't keep up with his thoughts and he couldn't avoid it in time. A fist hit Huanglong and punched into his abdomen. A dull sound of pain escaped from his throat, but he couldn't shout. He was beaten by a girl with a white and tender little fist and cried out. He didn't want to lose face. At this moment, he finally understood the pain that boy Ding Mao was feeling. This delicate and soft little girl in front of him was clearly a humanoid tank covered in soft beauty skin. Ding Mao, who noticed his mask of pain, smiled darkly. "Humph, you laughed so loudly just now, now you can feel the unspeakable pain that I just suffered." Then he raised his hands and shouted excitedly, "Brother Niu did a good job. This wave of 666, Ding Mao, was convinced. Look at this painful body bent into a shrimp shape, the posture is unrecognizable. Martial arts movies lack you like this, a good actor with superb acting skills. I became the richest man in the world by making meatballs." Author, Lanshan Luziy. Chapter 167. The other brothers who noticed something was wrong were also distracted by his sudden voice. They all recovered and laughed, Yes, yes, Ding Mao is right. If Daniel retires one day, now, maybe I can become a kung fu superstar. Look at how beautiful my painful frown is, it's so vivid, the veins are popping, it's absolutely amazing. Ding Mao waved the flag and shouted, Brother Niu, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, look, the ancient medicine girl is kicking her, and you should cooperate and fly backwards. This dynamic picture will definitely become a film and television classic. Other brothers, ha 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 ha. Mazi, you really got it right. Daniel flew backwards like a bear so neatly. Even the huge collision sound when it hit the ground was completely controlled by him. Tisk tisk. It really hurts to hear the sound. Ding Mao chuckled, yes, yes, let's just say that brother Daniel is a good actor and a dedicated person. Phew, goddamn dedicated. Cao Gia, who was familiar with the truth, looked over and scanned Ding Mao's smiling face. She felt extremely sad in her heart. She was stunned at how the young man turned black just by saying he turned black. Ding Niu, who was beaten so hard on the stage, could still hear Ding Mao's sinister voice. He gritted his teeth. What a good boy, he was trying to trick this kid. Feeling secretly resentful in his heart, another fist hit him in front of him. Seeing that he was about to receive the next critical blow, Daniel quickly put his hands on his head and raised the white flag and shouted loudly, I surrender, I surrender, I surrender. The fist that was only 3 centimeters away from the tip of his nose paused in an instant. The remaining wind from the punch made Daniel's rough-skinned face feel cold. He burst into tears. If the fist really hit hard, his handsome and straight nose would definitely not be able to bear it. Living crookedly. Fortunately, although his name is Daniel, he is not a bully-tempered person who doesn't know how to adapt. He also knows how to retreat when faced with difficulties and call it quits immediately. Otherwise, it will be difficult to find a wife if his appearance is disfigured. He is not Ding Mao's stupid young boy who has not yet reached the age of paying single tax. He is now a man in his 30s. Every time the salary changes hands and the single tax is paid, the salary in the account is left. 4 out of 5. He felt sad. It would be nice to have this money to support his wife. Therefore, he must keep his handsome face. According to several brothers who are already married to each other and have children, their wives first fell in love with them because of their faces, and only then did they develop further relationships. He also concluded that among the brothers, it was true that the good-looking ones got their wives first, while the bad-looking ones, like Lao Wang next door, there are more than 100 people who are still single and pay the single tax every year. I estimate it's almost hundreds of thousands more. Daniel touched his handsome face with lingering fear, and then solemnly said to the ancient medical girl in front of him, thank you for your advice in shame. Alas, it's true that there are people outside the world and there is a God outside the world. It was because he was blind before. Bai Qian-chun raised her eyebrows, retracted her hand, stood there and asked quietly, do you need treatment? After saying this, Daniel's stomach, ribs, arms, and calves, which he hadn't noticed at first, felt a dull pain, and his whole body ensured that his face that flirted with his wife was still intact. He grinned and raised the corners of his lips, smiling awkwardly, no, no need, I'll just go back to the bubble healing cabin. Then he held his stomach and limped toward the audience with Bai Qian-chun's shout of next in the background. The brothers all grinned and gave him a thumbs up, damn, awesome, this martial arts scene was performed so well. Yes, yes, especially the micro-expression that your muscles were trembling when you were hit on your arm just now. This move is so exquisite. I almost thought you were really hurt. But then I thought about it, this ancient medicine girl, that delicate and soft little fist is not even half as big as your hand, how is that possible? If it is true, then you are too naive, ha ha ha. Daniel, the fist is hard. He finally understood Ding Mao's unspeakable resentment just now. Can he say that such a big head of his is really crushed by that delicate and soft little pink fist? No, if people don't believe it, if he loses face like this, he will be humiliating himself by saying it. Since no one understands his suffering, then let's all sink together. A dark smile appeared at the corner of his mouth, and he also looked for the big brother in front of him, who laughed the loudest, showed his white teeth and said innocently, "Step brother, I think among all the brothers, you are the one who likes acting the most. Last time I stayed in the lounge to watch you imitate a big star in the video and learn to sing. I think you are an acting superstar who was delayed by being a soldier. How about you come and do it this time for everyone to watch? Look at your heroic appearance, such a great stage is right in front of you, you must not miss it." The eyes of the sturdy man who was called stepbrother suddenly lit up, and his honest face was full of surprise, and he said, "Daniel, do you really think I have this talent?" Daniel closed his eyes and boasted, "Yes, you are the most talented person I have ever seen. Anyway, as long as you get on stage, no matter how fake your acting skills are, they can become real." Ding Mao glanced at him and chuckled in his heart. Brother Daniel was also in trouble. Then he watched the show happily and added fuel to the flames, "Yes, I agree with Brother Daniel. Stepbrother can come on stage and perform for us." The other brothers who had become excited were also full of joy. They completely forgot about the fact that the arena was a serious fighting arena and started cheering, "Yes, yes, yes, it's rare to encounter such a good opportunity. Come on, stepbrother, don't be shy, act boldly, brothers support you." The stepbrother stood up, a hunchbacked man. He couldn't suppress the cheerful smile on his face. He grinned and said emotionally to the big guys, "Then stepbrother, I will play one for everyone. Thank you brothers for supporting me." He hugged his fists at the guys around him and walked toward the ring with passion. As he walked, he was still thinking about what posture he would use to be kicked out and be more handsome and more realistic than that guy Daniel. Does he have to bend a little wider when holding his stomach so that the brothers can see his real and unpretentious acting skills? But soon he didn't care about acting at all, because the fist in front of him seemed soft and slow, like playing house, but it was powerful, and the wind caused by the fist rubbed the side of his face in pain. Lao Ji made a quick decision, gritted his teeth, and swung out a fist as big as a giant sandbag, clashing head-on with the little fist. But when they actually faced each other, Lao Ji only felt his 5 fingers squeaking and whining. His rough face was distorted, and almost even his eyebrows were using his life to interpret what a painful wail was. He roared in his heart, secretly scolding Ding Mao and Daniel for those 2 cheaters. Why the hell do they need any acting skills? This is obviously the real reality. Damn it, they were deceived by those 2 brats. Ouch. There are 3 more updates, don't leave, I'll check and upload them. I became the richest man in the world by making meatballs. Author, Lanshan Luzi. Chapter 168. Life goes on, acting goes on. A group of rough guys and soldiers were addicted to the drama. Ding Mao came down and Daniel came up, Daniel came down and Lao succeeded him, Lao succeeded next door and Lao Wan came up. After more than an hour, most of the people in the entire training room had gone up to perform realistic kung fu movies. They all turned black when they got off, and then they were touted with all kinds of temptations, and the next one followed them. They couldn't be beaten alone, it was embarrassing. We can't just throw them away. We are all old comrades in arms for many years. It would be great to get beaten up and act together. Bai Qian-chun looked at the Taihan hands lining up one after another and wondered in her heart, was it true that she didn't see it or was it fake? Although she deliberately acted a little lighter in order to continue watching their performance, her acting skills are not so realistic and unpretentious for everyone. It is inevitable that there will be small flaws. Maybe others didn't notice anything was wrong. If this is the case, Feng Yuyu's team of soldiers should go back and rebuild it. But obviously, they are not that stupid. When Ding Mao came down and the second old cow came on, some smart people had already discovered that something was wrong, but they felt that it was rare to encounter such fun, and everyone was very happy. They simply did not expose it, but actively participated in it, queuing up to play, and also feeling what it means that there is a world outside the world and there are people outside the world. The more than 20 soldiers who had experienced Baikin Chun's true strength were truly convinced this time, and understood what it meant not to judge a book by its appearance. Fen Yu listened to the interesting things that happened in the training room in the command room, and the corners of his mouth couldn't help turning up, as he expected. After fighting in the private room, he knew that this woman was very skilled in martial arts and could even pin him down on the wash basin. When he thought of that frustrating thing, he couldn't help but his ears turned red, he grinded his teeth fiercely, and then he snorted and continued to deal with military affairs. In the end, the superpower training room next door also rushed to invite the ancient doctor to come and give guidance, but Bai Qianchun did not go. The bare-handed fighting training here allows her to practice ancient martial arts, so that her sense of battle will not fade away. After all, after coming to the Interstellar, she has almost no opponents to practice with, but she can find a partner at any time when fighting with supernatural powers, and this is the time. After sitting in the training room, they moved to the recreation room on the other side. There are several small game machines in the entertainment room, such as basketball shooting and claw machines. Bai Qianchun and Cao Jiajia, who had just arrived, were a little surprised when they saw it. The soldiers in this battleship were so girlish. Cao Jiajia was in high spirits, and her eyes were shining as she called Bai Qianchun over to hold the doll together. There is no charge for the claw machine here. Bai Qianchun was curious and tried a few hands on the machine next door to Cao Jiajia. However, she was frustrated that she failed even once without using Gu Wu's inner strength and superpowers. Either the iron claws loosened halfway and the doll fell back with a plop, or the little tiger inside was too fat and heavy, and her claws couldn't grasp it at all. Another time, she finally accurately grasped the back of the little tiger's neck, but the paws vibrated, and the little tiger fell into the pile of dolls again with a plop, and became inseparable from the dolls. Bai Qianchun. Ah, this is even harder than finding the right acupoints for her tendons with acupuncture. Also frustrated was Cao Jiajia. She dropped more than a dozen handfuls and missed them, but she was a strong girl who never backed down. She rolled up her sleeves and became more and more courageous. From her blazing eyes, she became more and more frustrated. You can tell that she won't give up until one of them comes out. Bai Qianchun quietly retracted her gaze, and while she was pondering whether to continue, a shadow suddenly fell next to her. She raised her head and looked at Cao Ting, whose eyes fell on her with some confusion. Is something wrong, Master Cao Ting? Cao Ting nodded, with a little tangle in her pale eyebrows, and responded, yes. Bai Qianchun put down the controller and acted like he was all ears. Cao Ting explained her purpose straight to the point. There is a person named Yao Wengxian who wants to add your communication number. Let me ask you if you are willing to add him. Bai Qianchun raised her eyebrows. She didn't expect Master Cao Ting to be connected with Yao Wengxian, but that's right. Fen Yu was not unwary and anyone could take the battleship. This time she proposed to take the Cao family's grandson with her. 2. He didn't say a word no. Now it seems that they knew each other. Thinking about it again, Cao Jiajia once said that they lived on Jinyuan Star and were star citizens on Jinyuan Star. It made sense. Bai Qianchun's dark eyes flashed with a faint light, and then a slight smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Give it to him and let him join me. Anyway, she couldn't hide her identity when she arrived on Wuyuan planet. It wouldn't have mattered if he had known about it for a few hours. Yes, Cao Ting glanced at her with unknown meaning, wondering why her mood suddenly improved. However, he didn't ask too much about other people's affairs. After getting the letter, he directly sent a message to Yao Wengxian to agree to go, and also gave him the ancient doctor's communication number. Cao Ting was also annoyed by the messages he kept sending. Yao Wengxian, who received the message from Cao Ting on the other end, pushed up his glasses and raised the corners of his mouth. His efforts to communicate with Cao Ting in the past 2 days were in vain. He finally got the ancient doctor's communication number. He immediately copied the ancient doctor's communication number into the search bar, and then prepared to add friends, but what's going on with the already in friends list message that pops up? When did he add ancient medicine as a friend? Yao Wengxian was confused. Several thoughts flashed through his mind in a second. Could he be his former business partner? Or a student who has been sponsored by him? Or maybe it was some noble lady at the banquet. With a lot of doubts, he clicked on the communication number and found the corresponding person on his friend list. When he saw the note, the second son's poor little fake wife, Yao Wengxian's smile froze. The memory that had been sinking for a long time suddenly came back to him. This was the communication number that Feng Yuyu asked him to add the night before he was thrown into the battlefield more than a year ago. It meant that he, the brother who stayed behind on the main star, would help. He paid more attention to his assumed wife, and told him that if anything happened to her, he should try his best to help solve it. Yao Wengxian, who knew the truth, conveniently put such a note on the communication number at that time. The image was easy to recognize, and he could tell who the communication number belonged to at a glance. However, since adding this communication number, the owner of this communication number has never contacted him. It seems that he has added a fake number, so this number is like an item at the bottom of the box that is covered with dust. He has almost forgotten himself. I have added such a person before. Today it finally reappeared and gave him a powerful impact. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I became the richest man in the world by making meatballs. Author, Lanshan Luzi. Chapter 169. Yao Wengxian rubbed his temples, and it took him a long time to recover from his chaotic thoughts. The communication number of the ancient doctor is the same as the communication number of the second child's poor fake wife. Then the equation is established. The ancient doctor is equal to the second child's poor fake wife by Jianshun, the marriage partner and legal spouse. How could this be such a coincidence and so mysterious? Yao Wengxian took a deep breath. The excitement of reaching the ancient doctor's communication channel was gone. The excitement of finally being able to talk to the ancient doctor was gone. Instead, he was so embarrassed that he could dig out a 3-story villa with his toes. That kind of embarrassment. Why did this matter develop like this? The second child's fake wife turned out to be an ancient doctor. Does the second child's husband know? Yao Wengxian guessed that he definitely didn't know. If the second child knew about it, he would probably be unable to sit still anymore and come to him to embarrass himself. As for the ancient doctors, no, does Bai Qianshun, the second child's agreement partner, know their identities? He guessed that she knew. No wonder she was unwilling to add her own communication number and reveal her name on the Sheng family starship. This was obviously to avoid him and guard against him. Yao Wengxian recalled what he did on the starship, rescuing Du Le and buying vitality pills. These 2 things should not have offended anyone, but later he used her as bait to lure the people behind it, even though he had sent many guards to protect him. But I didn't communicate with her in advance, so it's not authentic in any way. Later, he persuaded Sheng Bian to ask about the shortcut to improve wood-type abilities. Come on, he was even more offended. However, in comparison, Yao Wengxian feels that the second brother, the real fake husband, is more exaggerated. The second child robbed the eldest sister of her favor and wanted to repay Baikin Chun's favor with star coins on her behalf. Later, he wanted to use a VIP card to bind Bai Qian Chun to escort the Sheng family. In addition, when the second child left before in the year of the main star, false news spread in the aristocratic circles that the second child is infatuated with the eldest sister. Haha, it's over. If they weren't a fake couple, the divorce agreement would have been signed by now. The tall and strong Lao Lu beside him turned his head and was startled when he saw Yao Wengxian's weak appearance. "Fourth brother, are you okay?" Yao Wengxian threw his head on the backrest, his meticulous tie was torn open by him, and he said feebly like a salted fish, "Something's wrong, something big has happened." Before, the ancient doctor was just a stranger with an unknown identity and no knowledge of good and evil. He did not regret his suspicions and actions. After all, in the business world, he had seen too many people who deliberately approached people who were naive and sinister, so he was on guard. That's right. He has a high status now and great responsibilities. Most of the power of Feng's first group is in his hands. He must be careful at all times. He would rather kill 1,000 by mistake than let one go. Otherwise, the entire Feng group will be destroyed. Feng's hundreds of thousands of employees are at risk. But now the identity of the ancient doctor has changed. Although he is not the real wife of the second brother, he is half one of his own in the household registration book. He treats his own people the same as the second brother, which is obviously not the same as how he treats strangers. And he also knew her past life background, and she was not a person with evil intentions. It can be said that her life was no easier than those of them who climbed up from the garbage planet. Thinking about it this way, the elders among them were suspicious of a poor little girl who had no father or mother, whose family property had been taken over, and who had been abused by the unscrupulous relatives who had taken over her property since she was a child. She was living a poor life that was not even as good as a maid. It was really unethical. For a moment, Yao Wengxian felt a mixture of emotions. As for why this poor little guy has such a superb talent for making medicine, and why it comes out in the form of pills that are not available in the interstellar world, Yao Wengxian is confused at the moment and can't start any unnecessary doubts and imaginations. De Ren's name. Lao Lu clenched his fists and looked at him nervously. What happened? Another transport ship was hijacked? Or was there an accident at second brother's place? Yao Wengxian raised his head helplessly. Shut your crow mouth. A transport ship has been attacked and we haven't investigated it yet. If one more ship comes, we will lose a lot of money. The Feng Group's profit for a month is not enough to cover the loss. The sixth child scratched his head and chuckled. He was not as smart as the fourth child, so he quickly shut up and didn't dare to make random guesses. But after 2 minutes, he still didn't shut up and asked, "Then what happened?" "I haven't seen fourth brother show this expression on your face in the past few days. Is the matter difficult? Have you told second brother?" Yao Wengxian wrinkled his face and thought, "Tell him, no, don't tell, I can't expose this matter, let him find out on his own." However, the 20% off negotiated price previously established is no longer enough and needs to be changed. So Feng Yuyu, who was in the command room, received a message from Yao Wengxian. "I decided not to bargain, and the vitality pill will be purchased at the normal price." Feng Yuyu looked surprised with a lazy brow. "What's going on with this guy? No matter how you say it changes, it changes. He usually bargains harder than himself, and his negotiation skills are becoming more and more proficient. Why did he surrender without negotiating this time?" So he sent a question mark back. Yao Wengxian, however, insisted on his own ideas and said plausibly, "I am doing this to better promote the close cooperative relationship between the two parties and express my sincerity." The sincerity of the apology. Since the ancient doctor likes star coins, he will give them away. Feng Yuyu is still puzzled, but according to the ancient doctor's ability, it is indeed worth wooing him. It doesn't matter if he pays the full price to deepen the cooperation. It's just a little bit awkward. Lee Hae-un can give him a 10% discount, but he wants to if he bought it in full. Wouldn't he lose this time? Fen Yuya complained to Yao Wengxian about this matter. Yao Wengxian is a bachelor. If you lose, you lose. Lee Hae-un is not as rich as you. There is nothing to worry about. You have to be generous. Besides, Lee Hae-un's troubles have just begun. Fen Yuyu immediately realized what he meant. An unknown attack occurred at the Yeoguang Star auction house, and many members of the nobility died. Although they were all from a small family, it was also the responsibility of the improper guards of Yeoguang Star. Lee Hae-un, the head of the family, would definitely not have an easy time in the future, and he would definitely lose money. In addition, a piece of news suddenly broke out on the Star Network an hour ago. There is a large laboratory secretly hidden under the sanatorium. Experiments are being done inside to unblock blocked muscles and repair superpower cores. They do not treat people as human beings at all. It is said that more than 30 experimental subjects have died here, all ordinary people of the fluctuating star without power. This news was revealed at this juncture, and the Star Network is now in a state of shock. It is difficult for Shaking Star to stand up, and the probability of success in being rated as a top star has dropped to 0.001%, which is almost non-existent. One can imagine what kind of trouble Lee Hae-un, the new head of the family, will face. If he is not clever enough, he will definitely be kicked out by the Lee family and used as a scapegoat. He knows the faces of these big families all too well. Thinking of this, Fen Yuyu's last bit of depression disappeared. I became the richest man in the world by making meatballs. Author, Lanshan Luziy. Chapter 170. Jianzhan, sorry, Miss Ancient Doctor, we have encountered something. I am afraid that the handover of the ball-making robot will have to be delayed. I am willing to give up 1/3 of the reward as compensation. Bai Jianchun, who was leaning against the basket, frowned, with a suspicious look in his eyes. Logically speaking, Jianzhan was not a person who would take the initiative to break the contract. She sent a concerned message, "What happened? Do you need help?" Think about Lee Hae-un, she also has connections on the Shaking Light Star, so she should be able to help Jianzhan. Jianzhan will come back with news soon. No need to trouble Miss Ancient Medicine. We can solve it ourselves, but we need to change our settlement planet. Miss Ancient Medicine's previous delivery address was Muyuan planet. Our third destination this time is the first choice is also Muyuan. Maybe we can meet again in a few days. A surprised smile appeared on Bai Qianchun's face. It would be great if a capable person like Jianzhan wanted to come to Muyuan Star. She was short of skilled star citizens. Welcome to Muyuan Star. No need for compensation, just follow the original contract. After all, the price has been reduced by half, and he will soon become her star citizen. She can't be such a devil, and she can't trick the talents of Muyuan planet no matter how hard she tries. But speaking of it, the star citizens have worked hard for so long, and it's time to pay them a salary after they return. The construction of Muyuan planet cannot rely entirely on the star citizens to work in vain for the love of power generation. Only by paying wages can they stimulate their enthusiasm. Contribute to sustainable development. On the other side, Jianzhan, who was standing in his old home on the Shaking Light Star, raised the corners of his mouth, and then looked at Li Rongyang standing next to him. No, it should be called Shi Lian. It was only yesterday that he found out that Li Rongyang was actually Shi Kun's brother Shi Lian, who had disappeared a long time ago. He never expected that he would return to Yeoguang Star with a different face and become Li Chao's subordinate. No wonder he took good care of himself in the nursing home before, but his methods were covered. Only he and his younger brother were vaguely aware of it. Now it seems that it was probably for the sake of his good brother Shi Kun. Otherwise, given his background of having no relatives, just Jian Yang, the next-door neighbor's brother, he would probably be sent to the underground laboratory of the sanatorium to become one of the experimental subjects. Shi Lian looked over with a gentle smile. What did the ancient doctor say? Jianzhan also had a friendly smile on his lips, looking more like Shi Lian's brother than the burly Shi Kun. The ancient doctor said that I'm welcome to Muiyuan planet, so there's no need for compensation. Brother Shi Lian's guess is right. She is probably the Muiyuan Star Master who has not shown up. The corner of Shi Lian's mouth rose. Well, you are smarter. A stupid boy like Shi Kun must not understand at all. Shi Kun stretched out his hand and scratched his head. He was not annoyed. He only showed his big white teeth and smiled stupidly, quite proudly. That's right, if Jianzhan wasn't smart, I wouldn't have chosen him as my partner in the first place. This shows that I am still very good at discerning. But brother, does it really matter if we blow up the laboratory underground in the sanatorium? How about we run away before the Li family finds out about us? Shi Lian glanced at him and said, Don't worry, I have a deal with Li Heun. I will reveal most of the old fox Li Chao's secret tricks to him in exchange for him protecting us on the shaking light star. If he wants to get the rest, some people will never let anyone find out about us. Besides, this news may not be a bad thing for Li Heun. Only by getting through this difficulty can his rights be more secure. How sure do you think he can get through this difficulty? About 40%. Shi Kun, he thinks his eldest brother is too treacherous, maybe 40% or even half of it is not there yet. Shi Kun expressed his deep sympathy for the second young master Li, whom he had not met for a few times. Ah no, the current head of the Li family. Shi Lian, but you are right about one thing. We must leave Shaking Light Star as soon as possible. After all, Li Heun's foundation has not been completely solid, and we may be exposed. Shi Kun was eager to give it a try. Then when will we leave? After I deal with the Shi family. Shi Lian's warm eyes were filled with a deep dark light, like an abyss full of hostility and as dark as thick ink. Shi Kun immediately stopped talking, and his originally cheerful face fell. After the eldest brother came back, he knew that the Shi family was responsible for the disappearance of his eldest brother. The person who did it was the current head of the Shi family, his second uncle. The other clan members also knew about it, but no one dared to say anything, and even help the evildoers. He himself suffered a lot in the Shi family. That is to say, he behaved a little stupidly. After he became an adult, he joined the 9th Army without stopping. After retiring, he also suffered from mania and was about to be cured. Otherwise, his maybe the second uncle would be cruel to him just in case. What can I do for you, brother? I've recovered now, and I'm particularly good at fighting. As he spoke, he raised his arms to show his strong arms to his brother. Jianzhan also said with a smile, Brother Shi Lian has already made arrangements. Do you need our cooperation? Shi Lian cast a disgusting look at his younger brother, who had well-developed limbs and could only show off his muscles, and nodded appreciatively towards Jianzhan. I have indeed made the arrangements. We are just about to finish the job. We will leave Yaoguang in 3 days. Good. On board the Phoenix battleship. After Bai Qianchun confirmed that she was about to gain a technical talent, she was in a good mood. She walked to the claw machine with the lop-eared rabbit on the other side of Cao Jiajia and tried 2 more times. This time, she was lucky. On the third one, she finally caught a cute lop-eared rabbit appeared. Cao Jiajia's eyes turned red with envy after struggling for a long time without even picking out a single hair. She looked at Bai Qianchun eagerly. Boss, are your claws here less swaying? Or is Feng Shui better? Can you let me try it? Bai Qianchun stopped when he saw the situation, holding a fluffy lop-eared rabbit, and moved aside. Okay, come on. Cao Jiajia burst into laughter and cheered excitedly. That's great, thank you, boss. Cao Jiajia, who firmly believed that this machine had good feng shui, regained her strength, and showed off her momentum with blazing eyes. It's a pity that once, twice, 3 times, good feng shui can't change her hand disability. It seemed that her dream of bringing a souvenir back from the Phoenix battleship was far away, and Cao Jia burst into tears. Bai Qianchun looked at her depressed look and thought it was unusual. Seeing how pitiful she was, she could help and try again. But before she took action, a message from Mizu successfully aroused her anger. Someone was making trouble on Wuyuan planet and wanted to snatch Ye Yang to be her 18th man. Bai Qianchun raised his eyes sharply, his fist was hardened.